Brianna was born 24 weeks and 14 ounces.
Now the boys were born at 25 weeks 1 day.
We're at 29 weeks, and about 28 they start to develop the lung.
Premature infants would not be able to reach major childhood milestones without the specialty of neonatology.
I always wanted to be a pediatrician, and pediatrics is the broad specialty of which neonatology is a subspecialty. So we work in the mother-baby center in the neonatal intensive care unit as right connected. We manage the patient from a medical standpoint. In other words, we're the ones that decide when to call the surgeons. We're the ones that decide what to do medically. These babies are kind of like each baby every day is kind of like a little motor that you're constantly tuning. And we are alerted and aware of when these high-risk deliveries are going to occur in most instances. And then a neonatologist goes to the delivery of these tiny babies.
Delivering a preemie is always high risk. However, when there are 2, 3, or even 4 babies to deliver, the chance of complications is even higher.
It was a total surprise. They were in the hospital just shouting at me, "Don't push!" Like they were just wheeling me down the hall, basically just screaming at me to, do anything I could to not have the baby. So you see them, and they couldn't get Ryan stable right away. And the next day they came into our room and they said, "We're doing everything we can. There's just nothing else we can do." And I mean, my husband started bawling, and I've never in my life seen him cry ever, not once. And so he was crying, he's trying to hide it. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Significant technological advances in the past several decades have given preemies improved care and a better quality of life.
One way we treated babies for a condition called apnea of prematurity, that's when a baby stops their breathing, because it was called bumper beds, and the baby would lay on the bumper on the bed, and it would slowly go up and then drop, and it would shock the baby. And it was just a little drop, it wasn't a big drop, but enough so that it would keep the baby. Well, that seems almost archaic now, because now we give caffeine, which is a CNS stimulant, and they get 1 dose a day. And they get it until they're about 34 weeks, and then they would automatically outgrow that condition. So then we stop the caffeine.
Is that the survival of babies between 23 and 26 weeks gestation increased from 53% in 1986 to 77% in 1990, just because of this drug. And so now the survival of babies in our nursery that are born between 23 and 26 weeks is 89%.
It's risky to have twins, and I didn't really know that at the time when I found out I was having twins. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 2-for-1 deal, this is great. I thought, but then I had no idea, and then I started reading books. I'm like, wow, this book is really negative. It starts talking about all these problems, and then after they were born, I finished reading this book, and it talks about all the problems of premature babies. Attention deficit disorder is very prevalent, and I'm pretty sure my son has. He's not as hyper as he is just forgetful, and he's a dawdler, and he loses stuff all the time. So he has a lot of the signs of that. I'm worried about his eyes because he had retinopathy of prematurity, and that's one of the things they check for right away. They put these prongs in their eyes and right away at the hospital and look for retinopathy of prematurity, because babies can go blind. He's had glasses since before he turned 1. See the little strap, and his eyes still aren't great. Even with glasses, they can't correct perfect.
The thing that's amazing is how sick somebody can be and how great they can turn out, you know.
Yeah.
And I have, you know, lots and lots of babies I've seen in follow-up, you know, babies that weighed like 1 pound 4 ounces that, you know, had collapsed lungs. I mean, where we had to have chest tubes in with a back end, collapsed lungs for, you know, 7 or 10 times even, and one who was blind, and the same patient, blind in one eye, and needed special ed until he was in 6th grade, and then went on to be in the National Honor Society and on the Dean's List at St. Olaf.
Along the way, letting families learn how to take care of their baby, you know, the first baths they give, you know, when they feel like, yeah, I know how to do that, when they make accomplishments. You get to know about families, and you know that families are a lot the same no matter what culture they're from. They love their children, they want to do what's best for their kids.
I think both, when Ryan was in kindergarten and got into the gifted program, and then Alexa a few years later, I was really proud, because to me their brains were their most precious you know, thing, so I was most proud of that.
One of the things that I have found is that the people who don't have the greatest outcome in the world's eyes are oftentimes the babies and families who have the greatest impact on hundreds of people because of the way they've gone through this crisis and the lives that they've touched and the lives that these babies have touched.